Well, it's once again time to call out SouthShore12 again for once again showing who they serve and ignoring the rest of us.
It's disheartening that something like this would happen over here.
Yep.
Right now on News 12.
The only place they sent a reporter to?
Incident in West Babylon.
West Babylon!
Witnesses tell us what they saw. And a shooting investigation in Holtsville.
Yeah, they barely covered that. They barely covered it.
And a warm and dry week is on tap. But could we see some changes? We'll have your latest weather headlines coming up.
Barely covered it.
2 years, I'm still fighting. Supporting breast cancer survivors. A look at one of the island's largest breast cancer awareness
That
events.
looks like that's on the South Shore.
Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight with a man seriously injured after a road rage incident in West Babylon.
Yeah, of course they're going to be
Police
all
say
over
they're
because it
searching
happened
for
in
a
West
suspect who
Babylon.
intentionally ran someone over. News 12's Carmen Grant tells us what led to the violence.
A guy got ran over in the parking lot.
Suffolk police tell us that victim is a 51-year-old. They say he and another man drove into a parking lot on Route 109 in West Babylon Saturday evening after a road rage altercation. Authorities tell us they exited their cars and started to fight.
It's disheartening that something like this would happen over here.
Police say one of the men then
Oh,
got
yeah,
back
something
into his
happened
car
in
and
the
started to
enclave.
ram his vehicle into the other man's car. Authorities say the driver then proceeded to run over the individual and then sped off. A store worker says customers ran outside after hearing screaming.
The guy was outside. He was screaming and everything, and all of a sudden the cops came in. There was just a guy laying in front of the car and the bumpers all damaged, and the grill was like almost like off.
They
Basically,
barely
The
covered
victim was
that
taken to the
shooting.
hospital
You'll
with
see.
serious injuries. Police are now looking for the
Because it
driver
happened
who they
in
say struck the victim with his car and
Babylon.
Meanwhile, the aftermath
Remember, those
left
people
behind
were
for
important.
many is a shocking reminder of what unfolded here.
I've never been to like a post-crime scene before, so seeing blood like that is kind of uneasy.
Yeah, because you're sitting in your little enclave where stuff like this
In
doesn't
West
happen.
Babylon, Carmen
But it's all
Grant,
too common for the
News
rest of
12
us in the middle of the islands.
And anyone with information about this case is asked to call Suffolk County Police. All calls will be kept confidential.
That's the only one they sent a reporter
Well, one
to.
person is dead after a crash on the southern state. State police tell us the single vehicle crash happened in the westbound lanes between exits 39S and 38. That's by Belmont Lake State Park. All lanes were closed off to traffic for several hours before reopening at around 10 this morning. An investigation into what caused the crash remains ongoing. Well, a car flew into a home in Bethpage. Police tell us this happened on
Barely
Hill
covered
Street
it.
near North Windhorst Avenue at around 4 o'clock this afternoon. You can see all of the airbags in the vehicle went off.
They sent a
Nassau
cameraman
police
there,
and
but
an ambulance were at the scene.
no reporter
It's unclear
sent.
right now how many people were inside.
Oh, it's
or
Bethpage.
if
We don't
anyone
care
was
about
hurt.
Bethpage.
And we're learning more about this crash, also into a home, this time in Farmingdale. Police say the driver and their passenger ran off. Neither of them
Yep,
has
no reporter sent to that one either. And again, 2 people ran off. This is just becoming all too common here on Long Island, where cars are crashing and people are running off because the cars are stolen or the people here are criminal records. But this is what we get to deal with in the middle of the island. And every once in a while, it happens on the South Shore. But if it happens in the middle of the island, well, nobody really cares because we are, again, we should be lucky they actually sent a cameraman there.
Neither of them has been arrested. Nassau police tell us the incident is under investigation. As we've reported, this happened on Staples Street just before 2 a.m. Saturday. Nobody was hurt. Well, police are investigating a shooting that injured a man in Holtsville. Police say it happened on Long
No
Island
reporter sent
Avenue
to that,
by
just a
Blue Point
cameraman.
Road this afternoon. You can see part of the road was blocked off by crime scene tape. We're told the victim has been taken to a hospital. Nobody has been arrested. Police are not releasing any other details right now. And police will be patrolling William Floyd High School tomorrow. This after police say a 14-year-old student was arrested for bringing a loaded gun to school Friday.
Just race through the
In a letter
stories.
posted to the
You should be
district
sending
website,
reporters to
school
all those
leaders say
stories.
Security will be scanning random students with metal detecting wands tomorrow. As we've reported, the district says the weapon involved in Friday's incident was discovered by a metal detector. We're told the student was searched because they were suspected of vaping. The teen is now facing criminal charges. Parents we spoke to are stunned.
At least they sent a reporter there.
Crazy. And I wonder how did he get it? With his parents, where did he have it? That's crazy.
And the district says it will also be holding an emergency executive
Sort of.
session meeting tomorrow to discuss additional security measures. That meeting will be closed to the public.
See, now, if they were run properly, the top story would not have been the road rage incident in West Babylon. It would have been the shooting in Holtsville. And they would have sent reporters to both of those. But because we're watching South Shore 12, they're only going to show what matters to the South Shore because it's all geared to those very important white finance professionals, those preppy people that inhabit the South Shore.
Well, tomorrow, jury selection is expected to begin in the manslaughter trial of a West Islip Marine veteran, Daniel.
He's from the
Penny,
South Shore as
not
well.
Guilty in the death of Jordan Neely.
But
Penny was recorded
what's happening to him is wrong.
Hold on the subway in May of last year. The hold lasted minutes and continued after Neely stopped moving. Penny's lawyers say the veteran acted in self-defense.
It was self-defense. It was self-defense.
Neely was threatening. Neely's family says
only in New York do you get arrested and prosecuted for self-defense.
Struggled with mental illness. And tomorrow you can help raise money for breast cancer research in East Islip.
Oh,
Jackson
back to the
Hall
South Shore again.
Grill is hosting its second annual All Boobs Matter fundraiser. There will be 50-50 raffles, gift baskets, and drink specials to benefit the West Islip Breast Cancer Coalition and the Male Breast Cancer Global Alliance. You can check it out tomorrow from 4 to 8
It's
p.m.
all just geared to the South Shore.
High school student Tatum Schwartz took the Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge to help be the end of breast cancer. Tatum led a group of volunteers handing out lemonade and cupcakes today at the Roosevelt Field Mall. The Pink Lemonade Stand Challenge.
Shocking, they were in the middle of the island for that, huh?
To help
Wow.
prevent and cure the disease.
Shocking.
All the money raised by Tatum today will go to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. And also tonight, Walking with a Purpose, the 31st annual Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk was held today at Jones Beach.
Back to the South Shore again. I mean, it's all about the South Shore.
Thousands of people dressed up in pink and drove down to the South Shore to raise money for breast cancer research.
It's all about the South Shore. Look, my mom died from breast cancer, so I'm glad they're covering this. But again, it's just all about the South Shore. I mean, it's what it's all geared to. It's like the rest of us just don't matter.
So research, a woman from Bethpage shared her story with us of being a 2-time cancer survivor.
It's very empowering to see so many people fighting every day. But very honestly, it's very sad to see.
I mean, I don't know how that gets a passing mention. Somebody's shot and they barely cover it.
In this club now. We need to find a cure.
And all of the money raised goes towards the American Cancer Society. And more than 2,500 runners from across the country laced up their sneakers for the 10th annual Suffolk County Marathon. The runners completing a scenic 26.2-mile route from Babylon Village over the Robert Moses Causeway before finishing at Gardner County Park in Bayshore.
South Shore again.
The County Marathon has raised more than $1 million.
It's just all about the South Shore. It's unbelievable, man.
Say trick or treat.
We're in Smithtown. They're in the middle of the island for
Smithtown
that.
are getting a head start on the fun. The town.
I mean, really, it's just ridiculous. And then they'll go to the weather, and where's the news? There is no news. You shouldn't be covering that shooting. So there you go. At least
a little over
the only good thing is
rainfall. And typically,
he's doing the weather.
We see
Not South Shore Sam, but that's it.
That just goes to show you.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough here.
For us, and it's definitely going to be making a bit of an impact, not just from the drought conditions, but even
At least he's
for
talking
some
about
of
the
our fall
drought.
foliage.
So
Now, as we take a look at our 10-day or just for the next 7 days for our rain forecast, now
there you go. I mean, it's just all geared to the.
Loved ones of the fallen tell us what the memorial stair climb means to them.
Now let's see what is the next thing.
11 first responders.
Well, it looks like they might be on the South Shore again.
Loved ones of the fallen tell us what the memorial stair climb means to them. And walking.
Well, it looks like they might be back on the South Shore again. I see Massapequa over there.
Let them know what that day was all about.
Vowing to never forget, Joan York from Massapequa spoke on behalf of her late husband, Ray, at a memorial stair climb for 9/11 first responders. Ray had been with the FDNY for 20 years, teaching children about fire safety when he responded to the World Trade Center. Hundreds of people climbed 2,200 steps at the Billie Jean King Tennis Center in memory of him and the other 342 firefighters that were killed. some wearing firefighting gear and others carrying American flags. The climb symbolizes the number of steps to the top of the World Trade Center. It's organized by the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. The money raised goes.
I don't
to
know
their
why they have to
cause,
pick somebody
helping
from Mass
families
Speak
who
to
lost
speak,
loved
but
ones,
we all
and
do
funding
know
medical
why.
treatment for first responders with 9/11 related illnesses. And a walk in East Meadow raised $100,000.
All right, middle of the island for that, at least.
Foundation of Long Island this weekend. Organizers tell us they hit their fundraising goal at the annual walk at Eisenhower Park Saturday. They say it's their favorite event because it creates a strong sense of community.
To make sure that they know that.
But you see, most of the show is like these kind of stories. They don't really want to cover like hard news. It's always this kind of stuff. They spend too much time on it. But I guess when you're sitting safe in an enclave avoiding most of the crime, well,
Seizure first
you don't really
training
care
and
about that. You'd rather
certification.
see this instead. You know?
Well, the Consumer Product Safety Commission wants you to know comfy pillows and cushions do not belong in your child's crib. And to drive that point home, it's issuing federal safety standards on some products. Health reporter Gillian Neff explains.
Safety experts say babies need to sleep on a flat,
So yeah, I mean, it's just
involved the cushion being.
this is
placed
what
in
you
the
get
sleep
so
setting.
obvious with
The
this,
products
who they
include
gear to.
8
Obviously, it
different
really is. Unfortunately, if you're in the middle of the island, dealing with crime and dealing with quality of life issues, this station is not going to care one bit about you. So that's. Oh yeah. So we're on the webpage now, and yep, front page story. Of course, driver ran over a man during road rage incident in West Babylon. We don't even see anything about the shooting in Holtsville. Car crashes into Farmingdale home. Let's see. 21 seconds. Again, this is they 21 seconds. This is what we deal with in the middle of the island. They don't care. They don't care.
At this, a car crashed into.
So they barely covered that. Barely covered it. Drivers fled the scene. That should be a major story. The shooting in Holtsville, not even on their website. It just goes to show you who they serve. And as far as that incident in West Babylon that they spent so much time on, it's almost in Babylon. It's in the shopping center right here. So you know, this is an enclave right over here, right by the high school. This is the shopping center it happened in. Again, this is an enclave. You know, it's in the enclave. Of course, that person said, "Oh, I never saw anything like that ever." Yeah, because you're sitting pretty in your safe little enclave that the rest of us aren't allowed to live in. This sounds like it's like a weekly occurrence dealing with crime for us in the middle of the island. But these people don't care. They're sitting pretty, and SouthShore12 is going to gear to them when something is wrong. But as far as Farmingdale, let's look for Staples Street, because I think that's pretty close to. It's actually South Farmingdale. So it happened over here. Yeah, that's pretty close to Farmingdale. That's not that far at all from Farmingdale. This is where around off Staples Street. That's where that incident happened in this area. And again, Farmingdale, while it's up and coming, it's still not as coveted as those areas on the South Shore are. Holtsville, that happened on Long Island Avenue. We don't even have any information on that. Let's see, I'll go to Holtsville. And I don't think, let's see, news. Let's see if we have anything here. Nothing. So, I mean, there's a shooting and it doesn't even get covered. I mean, a guy is shot in Holtsville. Doesn't even get covered. Sorry, it's the middle of the island. We don't care. See, this is exactly what I mean. If you're in the middle of the island, you don't matter. It's all about those very important people on the South Shore. And if you're not with them, well, like I said before, especially when it comes to SouthShore12, well, you might as well not exist. Because we really don't in their world. In their mind, we don't exist. We don't exist. It's just the people on the South Shore. And everybody else just doesn't exist. That's the way it is when you're watching SouthShore12 anyway. And again, that's why I called you guys out. Because once again, you're failing to cover the news properly.